A parade of Canadian Armed Forces and HMCS Cabot members marched in unison, their footsteps coming down softly on wet pavement along Water Street in downtown St. John's. They marched from the St. Joe. Family members of missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit people in Manitoba can now access an endowment fund to cover costs associated with a search, court proceedings, or healing. 4 people are dead after a serious two-car collision that occurred late Saturday near Ponoka, Alta, RCMP said in a news release. Just before 11 p.m., Ponoka RCMP received a report of a collie. After all his Olympic medals were destroyed in the Los Angeles fires, swimming great Gary Hall Jr. set an unexpected record, replacing them at International Olympic Committee headquarters Monday in Law. A pedestrian is dead after being hit by a vehicle in Winnipeg this weekend. The collision happened Saturday around 10:30 p.m. near the intersection of McPhillips Street and Notre Dame Avenue, City P. Ontario will head down to Washington to fight against a possible 100% tariff on films coming into the U.S. that are not produced in the country, the province's Minister of Economic Development. RCMP have arrested a man after he allegedly used a stolen track hoe to smash multiple police vehicles at a detachment in eastern Alberta on the weekend. In a news release, Bonnyville RCMP alleged that RCMP have arrested a man after he allegedly used a stolen track hoe to smash multiple police cruisers at a detachment in eastern Alberta on the weekend. In a news release, Bonnyville RCMP alleged that Hudson's Bay Company has backtracked on its decision last month to cut commission pay earned by hundreds of cosmeticians and fragrance advisors during liquidation sales, CBC News has learned. The retie. JAMP Pharma Corporation says it is recalling one lot of JAMP pregabalin pain medication because some bottles labeled to contain 50 mg capsules may contain 150 mg capsules instead. The Misla. JAMP Pharma Corporation says it is recalling one lot of its pregabalin pain medication because some bottles labeled to contain 50 mg capsules may contain 150 mg capsules instead. The Mislab. A man is dead after being stabbed on Waterfront Drive in Winnipeg's South Point Douglas neighborhood. Police were called just before 2 a.m. Sunday to Waterfront, between Higgins and George Avenues. Curlers Jocelyn Peterman and Brett Gallant are the first athletes named to Canada's team for the 2026 Milan Cortina Winter Olympics. The husband and wife team from Chestermere, Alberta, will represent. India and Pakistan are scrambling resources, both military and diplomatic, to respond to a crisis triggered by a massacre in Indian-controlled Kashmir that has heightened fears of a conflict between. Sean Combs, the hip-hop entrepreneur whose wildly successful career has been dotted with allegations of violence, was brought to a New York courthouse on Monday to be tried on charges that he, the last girl set to face trial in the death of a homeless Toronto man, has pleaded guilty to manslaughter. The girl, one of 8 teens accused in the death of Kenneth Lee, was scheduled to go on TR. A counsellor in the rural Nova Scotia enclave where 2 children have gone missing said the last 4 days have been incredibly tough on the community, as searchers continued to scour Pictou County. A counsellor in the region of rural Nova Scotia where 2 children have gone missing says the last 4 days have been incredibly tough on the entire community, as searchers continued to scour wood. After a fractious federal election campaign focused on perceived Liberal failures, the Conservative House leader is now signaling the caucus may be willing to support some of Prime Minister Mark Carr. New legislation affecting post-secondary institutions in Nova Scotia drew the ire of members of the Canadian Association of University Teachers at a meeting this weekend in Ottawa. An act respecting